Hey, just bringing you in here because previously on a video I'd mentioned where I've done these welds, couple of inches on, couple of inches off, and couple of inches on again. That was to back up the line of plug welds that I've done here, where the replacement floor and the original tunnel are overlapping. However, there's a guy called Mark Piper who kindly commented on my video, and he's going to save me a lot of time in the long run, because what he has pointed out is that to pass an MOT where there is a repair or a panel join that isn't a location where there's a factory join, you must seam weld it. So I've been and read up after he commented, and I found the section in the MOT guide, and it does indeed say that you have to do a full seam weld on anywhere where you're making a join or repair patch. But for example, if I was putting a patch in the inner sill here, this top edge, because it's original factory, could be spot welded, but this edge and this edge and this edge would have to be a full seam weld. So that's something I wasn't aware of, and there's a couple of places on my repairs so far that I have done that, this being one, and also in the boot where we repaired the wheel well, I spot welded in a repair panel. That will have to get seam welded as well. So we'll carry on now, but I just wanted to point that out because obviously that's hugely important, and you know, I don't want anyone following what I've done down here and then failing in their MOT. Right, let's carry on. Hello, welcome back. Join me on the other side now. Pretty much welding done on that side, so just going to have a look and see what needs doing to get this flitch panel and inner wing out. Basically everything that touches the bulkhead panel is obviously disconnected apart from the screws, so we're all fine over here and down to here. So the only bit left to release is possibly a little bit down here, and first bit I think I'm going to do is just cut across here because the scuttle panel comes up to about there. So we're just going to cut across and remove this. Got to just free up as best we can the closing panel in there. So you can see there's weld there. So basically down that line, pretty much. So we'll end up cutting here, I guess, and also in the hole, in the space between this panel and the closing panel. We'll just cut through here, and then we'll get that section removed off there. This piece is the piece that's welded in the most. It's these points up here, and then the 4 here as well, so we're going to drill those out. Yeah, and then I'm not sure if we're completely released from the shelf just along here, so we'll have to have a go at that bit as well. First things first, I'll cut that out and then we'll see where we're at. Okay, good. That's that little piece out. We can see down into here now. So we're going to cut, see this triangle here, we're going to cut down the middle of it from top to bottom, and we're also going to cut on the outside from top to bottom, just being careful not to cut this panel or cut into the shelf. So then we'll be cut either side of that line, and then we'll remove the strip that remains. And this is the trouble with cars like this. So although I'm removing the flitch panel, I'm not actually removing the flitch panel.
because there's the original one, you see, where it was all rusted completely away at the top here. So we're having to peel off this layer. I'm trying to get both layers off obviously, but there are welds underneath here attaching various things together. Gonna have to repair this as well, like we did on the other side. So I'll keep cutting away, but now we can see all this welding was to join the two flitch panels together as well. So it's going to take a while just to unpick the mess around this panel, but we're getting there. We cut, as you can see, here and here. So some of this is fairly loose. I'll carry on and I'll jump back when I've done a bit more. Making some progress here. Obviously this piece is all gone now. I mean, there wasn't much attachment, just a bit here, and I'll show you that piece quickly. So there he is with his two skins. So he's out. Under here, that is part of the closing panel, which you get on a heritage panel but you wouldn't get on a Magnum one. It's the shelf support bracket basically, so that comes with this closing panel. So we need to peel this piece off, which, and just tidy up the weld around here, and then the next job is to try and get this off, but because of that previous patch it's all seam welded along here and there's no distinct edge. So what I'm going to have to do is I'll measure the width of that one over there carefully. I'll draw a line and then I'll cut on the inside. So we'll cut this way, and that'll tell us where it's supposed to stop, and then we'll remove this from this side. So let's do that. Okay, I've had enough chopping this today. I've got some decisions to make on this panel. On the other side it was pretty good apart from just this little bit which I repaired, but down here you can see there's holes here where I've ground off the excess weld, and then there's holes in there as well. I know you can get the cheap version of that panel pretty well cheap obviously. I'm wondering about using that or a cut of that to basically replace this face. So there's kind of a crease here from top to bottom, so I'm wondering about just chopping down the crease and replacing that with the new panel, or alternatively replacing the whole thing. The only problem with that is I didn't massively want to detach all of this in here, so it's the weld to this, and also there's like a whole bunch of spot welds all down this edge, and then it tucks behind my my new inner seal down there. So yeah, just decisions. Either make that long seam weld, which I've got nice access to do here, which might be fun to give a go, or to just chop that whole panel out and replace it, which means undoing, as I say, all those spot welds down there and trying to get in behind here, behind the new sill. So don't know which option at the minute I'm going to choose. I will go and have a think, but I'll probably buy that panel. In the meantime, I've still got all of this to unpick, so it won't hold me back. Cheers guys. little bit of oil on the end just to keep the drill lubricated. Loads more to do, no point filming it all, so I'll drill out the rest of these and then we'll come along with a bigger drill and open up these holes, because this little hole is not going to be enough to release the spot weld. Okay, so got repairs to do on this closing panel. I've actually bought a replacement one. Got the one without this bracket on because they have that hole there and I don't want that hole, so what I'm going to do is actually leave most of this in place because it's all really sound metal. It was just the leading edge of it where it had been messed about with previous welding that needed replacing, and then a bit of corrosion right at the top here. I'm just going to chop the leading edge off of this one. What I did was I just ran the file, the flat file, along there just so I've marked where to cut. That scratched the paint off, gave me a nice line here. We'll cut that. We obviously cut on the fold already, so that should be exactly the right piece. I'll get on, cut that out, we'll get it in place, and then it needs tacking. Here we go then. Cut myself a little repair piece, put the holes in so it can be welded to the flitch panel. We'll get some tacks on there, I think that will be okay. Right then, coming to the end of another session on the car here. Let's have a look and see how that repair welded into the closing panel. So I'll bring you in, and hopefully you can, or actually hopefully you can't really see the join there, a join there, and then obviously a join all the way along that front edge, linished back. So I didn't film all of it, didn't want to take out the whole closing panel. I'm sure you'd understand, first time doing this, and also if I'd taken that closing panel out, then this door step panel would have just been flapping in the wind, and it's not attached to a jig anymore, so really trying to keep some original positioning. If that closing panel stayed in place attached to the doorstep, which is attached to the parcel shelf up there, it meant that this couldn't really move. I will be putting the jig back in place when I have got the inner wing back on, so we will know that it does go back into the right place, but at the same time I didn't want it flapping about. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.